In this tutorial, I will walk you through the chase sale downwind results page. And you'll notice that I'm starting off in the image table. I'm just going to take a moment to walk you through the several ways you can get to the images that you would like to view the results of and compare. First off, you'll notice that there is a scene column in the image table, and this lists the scene type that the image is categorized under. So if I've made a measurement using the chase sale upwind scene, that's going to be the label that's in the scene column. If I have not measured an image, you should see a generic label. Again, this indicates that you can pull the results page up, but you won't see any results since you haven't measured anything. So I can simply sort by scene type, and you'll see the chase sale downwind scene conveniently pops to the top. If I had more chase sale downwind scenes that I wanted to sort, and maybe I was interested in only looking at a specific true wind speed range or true wind angle, I could head over to the filter tab over on the right hand side and say maybe I only want to look at 8 to 11 knots and maybe 135 to 140 true wind angle, and apply those filters and get a more specific filtered set of results. But right now, since I just have a few downwind scenes that I've measured, I know exactly the image I want to pull up. So I'll just select that image here and click the View Results button. Now this is going to pull up the same layout results page for any scene that you're comparing. So it's important to make sure you compare scenes that all have been measured that are the same scene. So you're not comparing like a chase sale upwind scene to a chase sale downwind scene. Make sure you're comparing like scenes to like scenes. But you'll also notice here that the layout is the same. So up at the left-hand corner, we have the image title and name. Again, if there are multiple images, those will all be listed here. We also have additional information like tags that have been applied to the image, the timestamp, any sales from the inventory that have been added, the venue, and any of the log data. Over on the right-hand side, we have the actual measurement results. So we have a plot here, and we also have a table. And again, we can toggle between the relative mode and absolute mode, so more on those in a minute. And of course we have the image or images in our main image panel. Unlike in the measure scene where you need to hold down the shift key on your keyboard while using your trackpad or mouse to zoom in or out, in the results page, you do not need to hold down the shift key. You can simply pan in and pan around using your trackpad, and you can do this on individual images. So this is really handy if your images are at different zoom levels and you want to maybe compare the boats in those images where they look to be similar sizes. So you might have to zoom in and out to make it easier to visually compare them. You'll also notice that our curves have some additional lines in them from when we left them in the measure part of this process. So let's take the miter curve, for instance. We can see that there are 8 lines. So I'll just highlight one so you can see what I'm talking about. The 8 lines here are drawn normal to the curve line. So we have those for each of the curves we've plotted, and each of those lines is represented by one of these dots. So each curve is divided into 8ths. So that's what these dots correspond to. So moving over to the results of this measurement, we're in the relative mode here, and the y-axis represents the distance along the chord for that particular curve, and this is represented as a percentage. Likewise, on the x-axis, we have the distance along the curve to the chord line measured in the percentage of chord for that individual curve. So again, the y-axis, everything's going to be 0 to 100, even though in meters, these curves are of different lengths. So we'll get to that in a second when we switch to the absolute mode. If we want to view this in a table view, we can toggle to see these just in raw values. If we want to view the curves in a larger screen format, maybe we're presenting this in a team debrief, we can expand this to full screen view. And of course, if we want to just quickly identify where the max depth was of each of these curves, we can do that here in the section beneath the plot. So we can see here that the Luff max depth is 4% of that chord line, and it's located at 52% up along that curve. Now, toggling to the absolute mode, we see the same set of results but presented in meters. So on the y-axis, we have the distance along the chord line for that individual curve, but again in meters, not in percentage. And then along the x-axis, we have the distance in 8ths along the curve to the chord line in meters, again, not in percentage. And we have the same results down here for the max depth, but in this case we have the results in meters. So the max depth of the luff, which was 4% in relative, is translated to 1.671 meters, and it's located 21.57 meters up the luff. A couple of other features that's worth taking note on this page: if for some reason you want to make a change to where your measurement dots are placed, or you want to change your length reference, whatever it might be, you can simply go back to the measurement page for that image or set of images here in the measurement dropdown. If you want to add any notes, you can select the notes button and type in your note and comment here. This will tag anyone else who's in the image, and anyone who has access to this can view your comments, and you can have an ongoing comment thread. And lastly, if you want to download a PDF of this particular view, you can do that here with the report button.